Welcome back to another League One predictions video. This time we are predicting match week 39 now. Match week 38 was a fantastic one, and we are starting things off with, can Exeter make it back-to-back wins? Well, they face a really poor Burton side that, from what I saw on Tuesday night, are destined to go down. They never really looked like threatening us. Obviously, they got that scrappy goal late on, but for the majority of the game, we were the much better side. Whereas, contrasting this, Exeter have been very good lately. So I do think they're going to win this game, especially as they're at home. So I am going to predict a 2-0 Exeter win. Now, next up, can Steve Evans' sides keep themselves in the playoffs, or will Leyton Orient spoil the party? Obviously, Steve Evans famously said in midweek that his side are one that teams won't be wanting to play against in the playoffs. Well, I'm not too sure about that, but they are going to be facing against Leyton Orient, who have been faltering lately, but both sides coming off the back of a draw. I can predict another one happening. I don't think there's going to be many goals in this one. Stevenage don't tend to score many goals at the minute, so I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw. Now over to Carlisle. It's a bit of a relegation 6-pointer, but which side's going to come out on top? Obviously, Carlisle really gave it to Barnsley in midweek, but couldn't quite get anything from the game. I think they're going to be very disheartened about that after coming so close against a really top side and just not getting anything out of the game. It looked like they're pretty much down. They're one win in the 5 coming against a really poor Burton side. Shrewsbury looking a little bit more on the up. I think they're going to get another win and continue this pattern of winning then losing. So I'm going to go with a 1-0 win to Shrewsbury. Next up, can Wycombe make it 3 wins on the bounce? Well, I think they will, as they face a Northampton side that's been faltering lately. I don't know, they're not as good, especially at Adams Park. It's going to be a really tough game for them. I think Wycombe are going to put on a very professional display, and it's typical that they're getting better in time for playing against Portsmouth. But I think the Wycombe are going to win this game 2-0. I think it'll be a very good 3 points for them again in this one. Next up, we are at the DW, where can Blackpool make it 2 wins from 2? Or will Wigan spoil the party a little bit as Blackpool continue their push for the playoffs? Obviously, Wigan have had a bit of a mid-table season, but they are a good side, and don't be fooled by a league position. They could cause an upset here. In fact, I'm going to go with a draw in this one. I don't think either side is going to be able to have enough to break through. From what I've seen of Blackpool and Wigan this season, they're both pretty similar in terms of ability. Obviously, Blackpool caught us on a bad day, and well, we were very unlucky not to win at the weekend. So I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw here. And I think either side could take all 3 points. Now, next up, can Cambridge finally win a game? Well, I put out in midweek after their defeat to Lincoln that they could possibly be going down. Do you know what? As the weeks go on, I think they will go down. I think they just don't have anything really going for them at the minute. 1 point out of their last 5 matches is definitely relegation form. Reading obviously losing their last 2 matches. They were very unfortunate last night with that pretty horrific red card decision. Obviously, they then conceded a penalty after that. So I think Reading have been very unlucky recently. I do think they're going to bounce back though. At the select Carlisle Stadium, they've definitely been better there this season. So I'm going to predict a narrow Reading win. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win to the home team. Well, over to Vale Park. Can Oxford bounce back after a really shocking defeat in midweek? 5-0 against Bolton was really, really poor. And Oxford are slowly losing touch of that playoff place. I thought they were going to put on a bit more of a fight. From what I saw at Fratton Park and when they went and got the win the week after, I thought they were going to do something against Bolton. But no, they just rolled over and died, really. I think it was a very disappointing performance, and it's a worrying time at Oxford. And to the point where I think that Port Vale, who are all the way down in the relegation zones, are going to win here. I am going to go with a 2-0 win to Port Vale. Now, next up, can Peterborough continue this winning run, or will Pompey go there and get a result? Well, I'm hoping that we get a result. I think we could. I think it all depends on Lang and Sparks' fitness. Obviously, we've got Lee Evans coming into the side. He never made an appearance on the pitch, but being on the bench on Tuesday night was definitely a more positive sign. I do think we're going to have enough to get through the game, so I'm going to predict a 2-0 Pompey win. Next up, we're at the LNER Stadium, where can Lincoln make it 3 wins from 3? Well, they've been on fire recently. 11 goals in their last 2 matches is absolutely outrageous. And I don't think they're going to look like stopping anytime soon. I don't think it's going to be as big a scoreline, but I definitely do think they're going to win by a fairly comfortable margin, especially as they're at home against a pretty up and down Bristol Rovers team. I'm going to predict a 3-0 win to the Imps. Next up at Highbury, one of these teams is going to have to lose their unbeaten record, and I think it's going to be Fleetwood. I think Charlton are a really good side under Nathan Jones. Look, a revitalised side. And I think that Charlton are going to win this game narrowly here, despite being away from home. And despite Fleetwood being a little bit better recently, obviously got that disappointing draw in midweek to Bristol Rovers, and they need to start getting some wins on the board if they are going to survive this season. But I just think Charlton are going to have a bit too much here. I am predicting a 2-1 win to the Addicts. Now next up at Oakwell, will Cheltenham manage to end their winless run, or will Barnsley make it 2 wins from 2? Well, I'm leaning towards the latter of those, as Barnsley are just a much better side than them. They managed to bounce back against Carlisle just about, but they did get the win. I think they're going to take great confidence going from that. And against the struggling Cheltenham side, I can see this one being a big scoreline. So I am going to go with a 4-0 home win, and definitely one that's going to give Barnsley a lot of confidence going into the run-in. Now finally over to Pride Park, where up until Tuesday night I would have said Derby win this game comfortably, but Bolton looked like a revitalised side. Especially they're going to have a lot of confidence after that 5-0 drubbing over Oxford. Now I think it's going to be a draw. I'm hoping it's going to be a draw. I can see goals, so I think it's going to be a very entertaining game. But I'm going to predict another 2-2 draw for Bolton after their last big game was against Barnsley and it was a 2-2 draw. I'm going to predict another one here, which I think is a positive point for Bolton, especially as they're going away from home against fellow promotion rivals. So that just about wraps us up here. If you have enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.